Alright, so everyone's asking what the fights will be on the UFC White House card. Donald Trump himself came out and said that there's going to be like 6-7 title fights on the bloody card, and I think that's a load of bollocks. So I've come here to say what fights truly will be made, because I'm actually Dana White himself. This is just an alt account. So firstly, the main card, main fight for the main card will be Pereira versus Aspinall. And you may be thinking, what the hell? Aspinall, just had a no contest with Gane. Is he not going to fight him? Well, let's break down what fights could be the main fight of the main card, right? Firstly, there's going to be no Russian fighters because it's American independence and all that, and they're literally in a war with Russia. There's not going to be no Islam Makhachev, no Khamzat Chimaev, no Peter Yan, and there's definitely not going to be a flyweight main card, is there? There's the bloody Joshua Van. They're probably going to make him against Tatsuro Taira in Japan. They might wait for Van, to be fair. Pantoja. But either way, that is not headlining. You got lightweight. I mean, maybe they'll do Topuria versus Paddy, who I think is going to beat Gaethje, but Topuria is probably going to be still up doing the divorce thing. And who knows if the winner on 31st of January, I think it is, will actually be able, the interim champion will actually be able to face him, Topuria, by the White House card. I highly doubt that's going to be a matchup. So the only two divisions really available are light heavyweight and heavyweight. And Pereira's been saying about his move up to heavyweight for ages now. And knowing the UFC, the direction it's been going recently of creating massive super fights and prioritising excitement over who deserves it most, such as with Arman Sarukian and also Diego Lopez, to be fair, even though that's a sick fight, him obviously being booked against Volk in Australia. I think they're going to make Pereira versus Aspinall. Don't get me wrong, I think Aspinall, I'd love to see him starch out Gane cold, but I wouldn't mind Gane just never getting a title shot again, because he's already had 4 title shots and he's messed up every single one. So, yeah, I genuinely don't care too much. People are also saying as well about John Jones maybe returning. He's not going to fight Aspinall. Come on, we've been going down this route for the past 2 years. They're not going to make Pereira versus Jones either, even though probably Pereira and Jones still both want that fight because they've been going on about it for ages. I think Dana White wasn't bluffing when he said John Jones has a 0.0001% chance of going on the White House card, because he's been pissing him off for the last 2 years. So, yeah, I highly doubt it. Pereira versus Aspinall. Pereira gets a chance of free, weight, championship, all that bollocks belts. And Aspinall, he has unfortunately lost a bit of aura, obviously with the Gane performance. But I think it was a fairly even round. He was 3 strikes down against Gane, and yeah, but in the public perception, Aspinall needs redemption, even though I don't believe that, and I think that's the fight they're going to make. But if Pereira is moving up to heavyweight, what's going to be happening at light heavyweight? And I think that is where you make Carlos Ulberg versus Yuri Prochazka. I think that is an absolute banger. I think that Carlos Ulberg isn't going to fight on the Australian card in January, because otherwise Carlos Ulberg versus Pereira would have already been announced, especially because of the fact that Pereira is a far bigger star, whether you like it or not, than Volkanovski. So they would have announced that as a main event instead of Volk versus Lopez. So, yeah, I think they're not going to have Ulberg fight on the Australian card, and they're going to wait to do Yuri Prochazka versus Carlos Ulberg for the vacant light heavyweight belt. And yeah, that is an absolute banger. Don't get me wrong, yeah, Carlos Ulberg can be an absolute twat at times when he fights. That Jan Blachowicz performance, arguably lost. He just starched out cold Dominic Reyes, but bloody hell, I'm still sour. I'm still sour from the fight before that, and I think that Jan Blachowicz is such an underrated fighter, and So I'm completely biased, and I completely hope that Jiří Procházka starches him out cold, because let's go for that. And yeah, make that Allberg versus Jiří Procházka for the co-main event. They normally have a women's fight on as well for like massive cards, and since it's literally the White House card, I was thinking, okay, what women's like title fight could we have? There's 3 options. Obviously, Shevchenko should not go on, not only because she's Russian, but because that last performance against Weili was shit, and it was boring. And Kayla Harrison, she's fighting Amanda Nunes, isn't she, in January? So I doubt she's gonna have a quick turnaround, because she's only fighting once a year. So I think what they need to do is use their newly minted OnlyFans model Mackenzie Dern and put it against Zhang Weili. I think that matchup will be alright. I mean, Dern is literally American, so that suits well. Weili obviously gonna be able to get her belt back that she's just vacated. Unfinished business there. I think match it up, and I also think that'll be a good break. You know, you can stick that on quick little 25 minutes while you're getting your tea, making coffee or whatever, to then watch Allberg versus Jiří and Pereira versus Aspinall. And also because you just will have to process the amazing fight. I hope it'll be a banger. And Chandler won't just foul him and like cause a no contest. I think they should do for the feature fight Chandler versus McGregor. McGregor, if he's ever going to return, to be fair, I don't know if he ever will, but if he will ever return, it will be against Chandler on the White House card. I mean, who else is he going to fight realistically? I literally think, who else is he going to fight? There's no one else. Everyone would want to fight him, don't get me wrong, but yeah, no, I think McGregor versus Chandler, it makes sense. They've had the whole tough thing go on. Chandler, he probably don't deserve it, to be honest, anymore, because he's a big stinking cheater, but if he's ever going to return McGregor, it's going to be against Chandler in the White House card, so book it. And they're both explosive. I think it'll be a good scrap. Hopefully, obviously, they won't gas out in like a minute. But I don't think it will last longer than the first round anyway. Who knows? We might have another Ivo Baraneski versus Ivo Aslan kind of fight, where they just absolutely scrap and have an absolute dogfight. And then, yeah, I run that. I think that'll be good. Chandler's obviously American as well. And, yeah, that way you got an American once again on the main card. As well as the literal biggest star in the UFC of all time. So yeah, those 4 fights: Pereira versus Aspinall, Allberg versus Jiří, Weili versus Dern, McGregor versus Chandler. I think that's good, and I think to round off the main card, well, to be fair, you could have 3 more fights on the main card, but one fight I really think will be made is Sean O'Malley versus Corey Sandhagen. O'Malley's obviously booked against Song Yadong, and I think that in itself is a banger of a matchup. And he's obviously looking to get his title back. But I think even if he wins, he's going to need at least one more win after the Song Yadong win to get a title shot again. Even though it would be against Peter Yan, and he has a win over Peter Yan, so that has a good narrative going to that matchup. I think he needs one more win. And yeah, him versus Sandhagen, who's just come off a title fight loss, I think that'd be a banger. And don't get me wrong, Song Yadong could also beat O'Malley. And it's like, even if O'Malley loses, you can still book him against Sandhagen. I think that's a banger of a matchup. Both are Americans, so that satisfies all the patriots, all that bollocks. And I'm sure he wouldn't mind a quick turnaround. Like, it's only, 5 months? And O'Malley isn't extremely inactive, so yeah, I think run it. I think that'll be a sick fight, striking only, really. I mean, yeah, what else can you say? I mean, yeah, and there are other fights I want to make as well that would be good for the main card. I think Sarukin Gamrot, that should be noted, because who else is he going to fight? Sarukin, everyone else is everyone else is booked. at lightweight, and also he can avenge his loss against Gamrot. I think that'll be good, and show that he's a good little boy instead of bloody headbutting Hooker, which he did, or missing weight. Well, they say it was a back injury. He really missed weight for his title fight, thus cancelling that fight, or bloody punching someone in the crowd. So yeah, I think Farouk and Gamrot, you could do that on the main card as well. You could do Prates versus Morales. That would be a sick fight, because they're obviously going to do Ian Gary versus Islam Makhachev. So yeah, I think Prates versus Morales should be the new #1 contender fight in the meantime. Usman versus Shavkat. I don't think Usman deserves a title fight whatsoever. He beat, Joaquin Buckley. And to be fair, he did well against Khamzat Chimaev. But, yeah, not like really worthy of a title fight against Islam Makhachev. He's 1-3 in his last 4. So, yeah, Usman versus Shavkat. Shavkat's obviously got a bit of ring rust, I'd presume, because he hasn't fought in ages. And he's still got like 6 months to fight. Both of them are extremely inactive right now, and so who knows when they're both going to fight. Yeah, I just think it'd be a sick fight to have, Usman versus Shavkat. And yeah, they should... I think Shavkat will be ready, because he had that injury for like the past year. I think he's ready by March. So yeah, in June, when the White House card is, yeah, he'll be ready against Usman. Usman versus Shavkat, that's another banger of a matchup. Any of those 3 fights, so Prates versus Morales, Usman versus Shavkat, and Sarukin versus Gamrot, you can also add to the main card. Any of them, yeah, happy days. Other fighters as well, I'd love to see on the White House card. There's obviously Strickland, being American, Covington, Joaquin Buckley, funnily enough, all American. But there's also non-American like fighters that are sick prospects I'd like to see, like that Kevin Vlayos in that last card that just knocked out Giga Chikadze. And like my boy Sam Patterson, who goes to my gym, I'd love to see him on the card. I highly doubt he'd get a spot, but he's literally on a 4-fight first round knockout streak. What more could you ask for? So, yeah, just like random prospects. Like, you don't want a Torres Finney on the card, even though he's bloody American. You'd much rather a Sam Patterson or something like that. So, yeah, I'm not going to bother making a bunch of early prelim fights, because no one really cares too much. Everyone cares about the main fights, and I'm cautious of time, because I know that the more length of this video, the less like percentage of it is going to be watched because of viewer attention, etc, and I'd rather keep the whole video really, really entertaining. And I'm waffling now, so I'm going to shut up. And yeah, that is what I want for the UFC White House card. Just to reiterate, I want Pereira versus Aspinall, and then I want Allberg versus Yuri, Whaley versus Dern as a little coffee break, then McGregor versus Chandler. I'm sure he won't mind being a 4-fight down on the card. I mean, he's not fought since bloody 2021. O'Malley versus Sandhagen, and then there's a couple other fights you could do on the main card, like Prates, Usman, Sarukin, all that bollocks. But yeah, I think that is what UFC fights will be made for the White House card. I think this is 100% accurate. Don't get me wrong, yeah, I would like other fights to occur. Like, I wouldn't mind a Petr Yan, or to even like an Islam Makhachev, even though his last performance was pretty bad, boring, and Khamzat Chimaev was pretty boring. I wouldn't mind him on the White House card, but he's definitely not getting on the White House card because he was boring and he's Russian. So it's not going to happen, and I'm here to be realistic. And yeah, this is the realistic UFC White House card. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe, because it is currently 9:30 right now. I would be just waking up for a White House card, a UFC event, because it's obviously Saturday night. Well, you wouldn't know it's Saturday night, but it's Saturday night, and there's no UFC on, and I've still got like 4 weeks left of no UFC, so I'm just trying to entertain myself. I'm currently sitting in a car park, bloody filming this video, with my camera and doing like a little voice note so I can edit it later. But yeah, this is my form of entertainment, and I hope this was entertaining to you. So I'm gonna shut up now. This has been a long bloody outro, and yeah, bye.